Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Thank you for taking time to cruise in for Car Club Talk with Robert, Randy, and Dana. Welcome to our home in the Lone Star Community Radio Studios house here in Conroe Tower, and the county recognized as the birthplace of the flag of the Lone Star State. I'm Randy Weldon along with Robert Helmer and Dana Pritchard. And sequestered back in the safe room / sound booth is Dick Schischler, our sound engineer and producer. We are broadcasting from Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 and 106.1 FM and streaming worldwide if you happen to have wandered outside of our listening area at irlonestar.com, on YouTube, and on Facebook. Hey, Dana, Robert, there's a rumor we've got somebody in the studio today, and I'm sure one of y'all can tell us. There's a rumor. One of y'all can tell us who that is, I'm sure, and then I'm assuming we have an agenda to go by. Who has the agenda?
An agenda?
Yeah. Did you draw something up, buddy?
Well, if Robert wants to talk about her, and then I can say a few words since I know her also.
Okay.
All right.
Who we have is Naomi Uresti. She and her husband, Matt Spence, owns and runs Mad Gear Hot Rod Apparel. Now, I met Matt years ago.
Let me ask quick. Is Naomi Uresti the same as Naomi Uresti?
What?
I'm just asking.
Yeah. Okay.
That's right, Naomi Uresti.
Uresti. Yeah.
That's her birth given name.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. I want to make sure.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll just get into the story about I met Matt in 2009. We were going to Redline Graphics.
Yeah.
We were doing the logos,
Yeah.
and I was trying to promote Northside and get Northside off the ground. Matt was starting Mad Gear, and we were just kind of like two ships and then passing by. We wouldn't really talk a whole lot, but I knew very much of him. And you would go in Redline Graphics, and all you would see is Mad Gear stickers everywhere.
Yeah.
2 or 3 people working really hard to cut them up and then get them ready for the show. So that's how I met Matt years ago.
I'll tell you a quick story about going to Redline. I went down there to get a flyer made for one of the Northside car shows. And the guys, the guys were great. They'd take time with you and everything. As soon as they were done with me, they're like, yeah, we got to go. We're doing a vinyl install on a huge trailer out back, and they open the door, and it's Mad Gear. So,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, I have a long history, too. Met them in 2003, actually, Matt, from Spencer Rides, it was called.
Oh, yeah, Spencer Rides. I remember that.
Because they had many, many cars to show,
Yep.
and we were doing Texas Showdown over at the dog track.
Right.
And then we were doing Texas Heat Wave together. And then many years later, we met Naomi. And I like Naomi because you want to talk about a hustler, about a strong woman who has built an empire, basically, in a male-dominated industry. She's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just never a dull moment. She's always working, promoting, helping others, and the charities that they're involved with through their car shows. It's one of the charities that I know of is parents who have lost their children due to homicide, and so they've raised a lot of money through their shows. So she's just a really really neat person. Her and Matt have done a lot for the community, and just on such a broad spectrum all over Texas and other states too with their car shows.
Yeah.
So
It's a whole different clientele. It's a low hydraulic trucks and stuff. They're not really classic car guys.
You can say low rider.
But lowriders,
It's
they do
okay.
have classic vehicles, and hot rods, they're just
it's very
they're not
few, though.
original,
Right.
basically factory original.
And Redline has gone through a lot of changes. John Vo was actually at Redline, but then he went off and created Pixelworks, and Pixelworks is the one who does our logos here for Cruisin. And he also does a lot of logos for Northside and done a lot of flyers. So
6 degrees of separation. Everybody knows everybody in
everybody's
some
got
way,
some history there,
especially in the car community.
So Naomi will be in the studio here, and before we get to that, anybody got any news?
Were we going to go over any car events, or are we going to do that later?
Well, we'll go over the events after
Okay.
after the news. There's a lot of mandates going on about EVs. EVs need to be mandated by 2030. Well, I didn't know there was a lot of legislation going on. Lawmakers in West Virginia and South Dakota have introduced legislation that prevent any county or city in either state from those two states limiting access to internal combustion engines, ICE. That's what they're calling it now.
Oh, that's the new ice.
That's the new ICE. So, or any related technology. So they're saying, hey, you cannot limit it, combustion engines. And so I thought that was pretty cool that legislation is going on. But other states like Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, and North Carolina have already passed similar legislation protecting the combustion engine. And this has been a success with the help of SEMA as well. And so, but
You view it as protecting the combustion engine. To me, it's not so much protecting as the electric technology is coming.
right.
I think we all see it. It's going to be there at some point. The problem is the technology isn't mature enough right now to replace the combustion engine.
Right.
It's going
But
to
it seems like
replace
that's
it.
what they were trying to force was the combustion.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, think about it. Would anybody have jumped on the EVs? Anybody?
yeah.
Had they not passed any mandates? Had they not forced people's hands
I
out?
think it would depend if the price of gas was continually going up. If we were looking at $7-8 a gallon of gas, yeah, I think a lot of people would
But
be
then how
looking
would they
at
afford
EVs.
the vehicle itself and the charging,
Yeah.
all that? That's additional cost people don't think about.
No, that's why Robert and I had a conversation the other day. That Jeep Grand Cherokee that I rented for last week to go to Jersey and back, that was a hybrid. $82,000 on the top end, $60-some thousand on the low end.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't paid more than $29,000 for a vehicle ever.
Yeah, and also the resale value right now is not catching up to that. I've seen where a Cherokee that was $80,000. There's a screenshot now on Facebook. It's been auctioned off for $20,000.
Good, bring them down. I'll buy them. I'll
And if
buy
they're-
one.
If they're just going short distances too, in their area, I mean, shoot, they could buy a moped before they buy a car.
Yeah, I'm not-
save
I'm
them
not-
some money.
Me and a moped in the rain, that ain't happening.
I'm just saying, it's, if you really are, dire straits with your budget, a scooter
Well, you-
may be the way to go, or a
Yeah,
moped.
For me, it's not a budget thing as much
Just
as
put a
it is.
basket on the front, Randy. You would look cute
Oh,
in
yeah,
a
I
basket.
put a basket. I'll put two baskets,
Yeah,
one on
there
each
you
side.
go.
Put saddlebags
Yeah.
on it.
Get a nice bell and
No, it's not so much of a budget issue with me as like I'm wearing a pair of jeans right now that were $9.99 at Walmart. I'm wearing a shirt that somebody gave to me.
And he's got $1 million in the bank, so I don't understand it.
I'm broke. I'm beyond broke, man. Broke's an understatement for me.
I
But
know just the mandates, though. It's hard for some people, budget-wise, if
Right.
they're already struggling, is what I'm saying.
right. But again, especially if the EV segment comes down, honestly, that's good for the next generation. It's going to make EV a viable technology because then they can afford to buy those vehicles.
I think we got worried with that with the cash for clunkers. Remember that?
Yeah.
And everybody thought, oh no, they're trying to get the combustion engines, or they're trying to get older cars off the road, and they were thinking that they were coming after classic cars too. So I think so we kind of we're looking for something to protect the classic cars, but I think we've already got legislators already doing that.
Years ago, I did a TBT story for. It was a guy out of Iraq. For people that own Mustangs, it was all about Mustangs at the time. But this kid was out of Iraq. He was a student, and he wanted a classic Mustang. So what he had to do, he bought one out of the United States. And in Iraq, if a car is past a certain age, you can't ship it in whole as a car. So he had to have this car that he bought shipped to Saudi Arabia, cut into pieces. And I've got pictures of it. He had it. It was pelletized, shipped to him. He reassembled his whole car, and regardless of how, I don't know how well it did or didn't run, but he had a Mustang. Yeah. It was his dream car. And he's in a country where, what are the odds of getting one?
Yeah. Trying to get the 57s out of Cuba.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Hey, on that Mustang, did he have to put the steering wheel on the other side?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I know in some of the obviously in European countries and other
Oh,
countries may drive on the
they
other
build
side.
them with right-hand steering.
And they
But
also cut a hole out at the bottom to stop.
I was
Flintstone.
I flew into Mexico City one time. They had a Mexican limo. The guy there with a sign and everything with my name waiting to pick me up. Took me 2.5 hours south of Mexico City up in the mountains. This thing was a Ford Granada, and you talk about that, but they actually had removed the automatic transmission, put in a standard, and didn't put a boot in there. So we're going up the side of this mountain like, a 1.75 miles up in the air. There's no guardrails. I'm looking over here. There's oncoming semi trucks, and I'm looking down at the road, watching the road go by. I was like, oh, this is just great limo ride, man. Great limo ride.
Hey,
Ford Granada.
at least they had a sign with your name on it.
They did have that, and then there were guards with the submachine guns walking around.
That's what I was
everywhere.
going to ask you next. Did you
Oh,
have
yeah.
protection?
Should have upgraded your Uber.
Yeah, they upgraded my Uber.
They didn't have Uber back then.
No, they did not. No, they didn't. The owner of that resort I went to, though, had a ton of money. So, anyhow.
I don't know if y'all been keeping up with the Stellantis and the UAW fighting.
Is that Stellantis or Stellantis?
Stellantis, well, I don't care how you pronounce
The
it.
owner of Chrysler.
The owner of Chrysler, yes. It's kind of getting really ugly. They shut down the Belvedere assembly plant that was in Illinois, and that's where they make the Jeep Cherokee. And so it was closed February of 23, and that affected about 900 people, 900 jobs, whose jobs were supposed to be transferred to other assembly plants, but I don't think that happened, for retooling for EVs. And the Chrysler cited that the low EV demand, they postponed the reopening of the plant. And it's right now, there's no date of reopening. And now all these union workers are thinking they were supposed to be coming back, or not coming back anymore. And so now they got the union trying to go on strike. So the only thing is, we were talking earlier about, this is only affecting this one plant, but they want the whole United Auto Workers to strike together.
Where's this plant that's threatening to strike?
Belvedere, Illinois.
In Belvedere, Illinois, and there's 900 employees.
So, yep.
So they want all the brethren and all the United Auto Workers from regardless of manufacturer,
Right.
just bind together with us,
Yeah.
and let's all go on
Let's
strike.
all go on
However
strike.
many multiple thousand there are.
Yeah, right. And they're demanding of them to reopen the plant.
You're a union guy, aren't you?
No.
Well, you were. Have you been in the union?
No.
Well, I actually have. United Steelworkers of America. And that was years ago. But honestly, would you go on strike for somebody at another plant somewhere?
Yeah, that's kind of hard to
Depends on how drunk we'd gotten at the union hall.
right. Jeopardize your job for
chances
somebody
are-
you don't even know,
Yeah.
and a cause that you don't have anything to do with.
But yeah, so we can get a job back sometime in the future. We just need a date.
So that was,
Didn't
that's
you say?
ugly.
Didn't you say Chrysler told them it's like it's in your contract, you can't strike?
Right.
So seriously, think about this. It's like, we're going to lay you off on this day. We don't know when we're going to bring you back or if we're going to bring you back. And if I was those guys, yeah, I'd just say, hey, thanks for the heads up. I'm going to look for another job. See you later.
Yeah. See, there was a time, they put this time frame that was supposed to be 1 year, right? So they were going to lay them off and get unemployment. But there's also this bonus that they have. It's this bank. It's money put aside for when you get laid off. It adds to your unemployment, so your actual income is still about 90% of what it was when you were working. When they're not getting that either, the Chrysler is saying that money is not there, and we never promised you that. But at the same time, the union boss, his name is Sean Finn.
No, it's not Sean Penn.
Finn.
Oh, Finn.
Yeah.
Did you say Penn?
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard him
The
say.
actor?
He's telling the union workers one thing, and Chrysler's telling them, no, we never promised you that. So the tensions are high between Chrysler and the elected president of the union, and now the workers with the president of the union, because everybody's pointing fingers at each other, saying, no, we promised you this, and no, we didn't. So
Yeah.
a lot of that. So right now there are 9 lawsuits going on against the union right now from Chrysler.
Well, I see both sides of this, but Chrysler's got to do what's right for them to be profitable. Now, if they're posting record profits, that becomes a different issue because in the United States we talk about wages and stuff like that. We want lower prices, but we want a higher standard of living.
Yeah.
And so we all want our hourly wages to go up. But there's got to be some sort of a parallel in there that equals that's best for both sides.
Yeah, I seen one editorial also. It says where the president Sean Finn, tensions have ran high between the union and all automakers. It seems that he's someone who likes playing things out in the media instead of fair bargaining.
Well, of course,
So,
get media exposure on it.
Yeah, go out in the media and demand everything.
Yep. Yeah, why not do that? But Chrysler's obviously holding some cards close to their chest. The union's holding cards close to their chest. Yeah. Everybody wants a little bit of something. But the only way to really resolve that is sit down and talk at the table.
Yeah, and another thing is nobody in top management at Chrysler would acknowledge this, but a strike would actually help them because right now their inventory is not moving. So
Okay.
you get a strike going where there's no production going on. It gives them time to sell the cars that are actually out on the lot right now. So that would actually be to their advantage.
Well, Chrysler does always hold the cards of, you're going to strike? Well, all right, go on, get out there on the line. Oh, by the way, now that you're out there, you're fired.
Yeah.
Could we do the same with volunteers for our shows?
Yeah. And another thing that the employees have problems with the union is the remaining employees at other facilities, because they have been laying off employees at other facilities all year, so everybody's already faced layoffs on all the assembly plants. The ones that are remaining are complaining that they're being forced overtime, and the union's not doing anything about it. So.
Sure. You've seen that, though, before, where you worked at Baker International. They laid people off, and then you were working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day.
Yep.
I can remember working for Reed
Two people
Rockbit.
doing one person doing two-person's job.
When I worked for Reed Rockbit, we were 7 days a week, and we were 12 hours a day, and there were opportunities sometimes for 16 hours a day.
Yep.
And that was your limit. You couldn't work more than 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
And that, by the way, is a lot of hours, especially when you're driving an hour to and an hour from to get to and from home.
And another thing is Chrysler's making really some stupid decisions on their Jeeps. It's not the Jeep Cherokee, it's the other
Is that
one.
your professional opinion?
Yes. They are taking away the automatic transmission option.
Says the Ford guy.
Yeah. So it's like most of their sales are automatic transmissions. So now if you take away the automatic transmission option and you put in just a 6-speed standard, how many people can drive that? So you're limiting your buyers.
Nobody under your age, and you're
Yeah.
what, 63?
Yeah. So,
No, they just want the cars to drive for them nowadays. Push the button.
yeah.
I tell you what, you get one of those Teslas and program it to drive, it's pretty impressive. Even in parks itself.
So not only you have to worry about them blowing up, you have to worry about them crashing. What's the lesser of two evils?
Well, you can crash and then blow up. You get the full experience.
We went off topic, but
Yeah.
We did. Again.
Okay. Do y'all have any?
No, actually, we've kind of surpassed our time limit, so maybe we should
Okay.
give some station recognition, get our first guest in here. This is Cruisin Car Club Talk on Lone Star 104.5 and 106.1 FM. Or for those of you who have wandered outside the listening area, we can be streamed around the globe on irlonestar.com, YouTube, and Facebook.
And we'll be right back with Naomi.
Car enthusiasts of Conroe, FM 104.5 and 106.1 Lone Star Community Radio invites you to shift into gear every Monday from 1 to 2 with Cruisin Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy for news on all things automotive in the greater Houston-Conroe area. Can't make a live show? We've got you covered. You can find all of our uncut content, including full episodes on Spotify, iTunes, Play Store, YouTube, Facebook, and irlonestar.com. Again, that's Mondays 1 to 2, Cruisin Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy. See you there.
We are back and appreciate you spending time on Cruisin' Car Club Talk with Robert, Dana, and Randy. Who do we have in the studio with us today?
Go ahead,
We have
Dana.
Naomi Uresti, and she's a longtime car enthusiast, businesswoman, and just an amazing, successful woman who's built her empire with Matt Spence. And she's just been a great help at all our car shows too, and many charities, and we're just happy to have her on the show. Another wonderful woman on the show.
No, very tickled to have you in here. First of all, we know nobody's looking on the camera at Robert and I, so to have two of you there, we got 50% more viewership on this episode. So, hey, I noticed from following your posts, your family lives in San Antonio, so I'm going to assume you're from San Antonio.
Yeah.
What caused you to migrate to Houston?
So I was doing car shows and truck shows by myself with my truck. And mind you, I have that history because of my dad, being that I grew up in a truck accessory world and customizing and wheels and paint and all that stuff. So my first truck was to go to the Heat Wave in Austin. And so I was doing car shows by myself with a map back in the day when you had real maps and MapQuest. But eventually I ran into Matt Spence, my now husband, and we built a business, and that business brought us to the Conroe area.
What kind of truck did you have for your first truck?
So I still have it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
That sounds.
I have an OBS, which is a gym right now. So I have a 92 short bed regular cab, which was the truck my dad helped me build when I was a sophomore in high school.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
I love those stories.
Yeah.
So you actually got involved in building the truck, working on
Oh,
the
yeah.
trucks, all that
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
Heat Wave goes way back. doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So was that in did it
No.
make San Antonio?
They have a whole tour, but the one that I went to originally was the Austin Heat Wave. Yeah.
Right. I was trying to write down, I don't have the list, but it was all the truck shows, the Texas Heat Wave Throwdown,
Yeah.
all the different shows they
Lone
created.
Star Throwdown,
The
right.
Lone Star Throwdown.
And Texas Showdown back in the 2000s.
Now y'all
Yeah.
have Scrape and
Oh, yeah.
Wake and Scrape.
Yeah. So
Yep.
the business that Matt and I have together, we own Mad Gear Hot Rod Apparel. We own Hatermade Clothing Company. And then together we also throw a couple events. We host and own Texas Wake and Scrape.
Is that
Yeah.
something new that y'all just started doing?
No, Wake and Scrape has been around. I don't know if you remember, Dana, but Expensive Rides, the
Yes, I
Hooters
remember,
car
of
shows,
course.
we outgrew it. So the Hooters car show with Expensive Rides turned into Texas Wake and Scrape when we had to become a real event, not a one day show.
And where did you get that name from, the Wake and Scrape?
That is Matt. Texas Wake, like you wake up and you scrape, kind of like a vehicle with its airbags scraping the ground. Yeah,
Because a lot of the vehicles that come to your show are on
Oh, yeah.
hydraulic air
Yeah.
systems.
Yeah.
But the show is really open to anything. Our background is more of the lowered bagged vehicles, but our show is welcome to lifted, lowered bikes, 18-wheelers. I mean, we do some really cool
I
stuff.
seen a video of nothing but a parking lot of 18-wheelers with
Yeah.
lights all over them and everything. So that was one of y'all shows too.
So as a vendor to other events, and plus I run the car show portion, the show you're talking about is great. You got to check it out anyways, but it's called Dragging and Pulling in the Pines.
Right.
That's in Lufkin, Texas. We just had it last month. Now, that is an 18-wheeler event, but inside of that event, Matt and I run the car show. So that is a really neat event. Out of the 20-some-odd things we do in a year traveling with Mad Gear, that is for sure
You
my
would
favorite.
never think that
Yeah.
18-wheelers would customize or
Oh, it's the
gotta
thing.
include
It's
that.
it's huge.
It's huge, yeah.
There's a lot of money in that, too,
Yeah.
in those modifications.
And I'll tell you, with us kind of growing in this industry, we cater to kids with our apparel company. We do stuff for like onesies and on, but it's not just the clothes I'm trying to sell to the kids. I will tell anybody that'll listen which shows I think are kid friendly, and that 18-wheeler event, the kids love it. I mean, it's something you got to take the kids to or the grandkids to.
Well, kids don't get a lot of chance to climb up into something that huge,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, at this show, they not only are they customized, but they race them on the drag strip. They turn their lights on at night. I
Yes.
mean, it is very cool.
So that the very first show I got invited to called Dragging for Diabetes was down in Pearland. This is years ago. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm in Conroe, got to go to Pearland. I'm up at 5 o'clock. We're going to get the show. and I drive in. I'm looking for the drag strip.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, something's weird about this. And
So
then,
it was actually Drag for Diabetes in
Yep.
the Galveston area. Yeah.
but when I finally woke up, I realized, this is about low riding,
Yes,
dragging.
dragging,
Yeah,
yeah.
I got it. Took me a while.
Going back to the kid-friendly, so with your apparel, some of the apparel is kid-friendly and some of the apparel is maybe not so kid-friendly. Can you explain the name behind Hatermade and all that and
Yeah.
how you...
That's a good question. I was going to ask that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it doesn't, so people understand.
Matt came up with the second clothing company called Hatermade Clothing Company because we had been invited to a lot of bike rallies, other type of festivals, and with this line we could do more quotes that included the middle finger, and we really thought we were going to separate them. Like, we'll take Hatermade to the bike rally. But believe it or not, when we first took it to a show in April in Austin, the Lone Star Roundup, we cannot believe the crowd, that older crowd of hot rods, just hovered to that Hatermade clothing line. They loved the quotes. Success has enemies. I can't say bad words, right?
Yeah.
F your feelings. There
Or
was just a
find out.
Depends on the bad word.
But and we couldn't believe how well they meshed together, the two brands. And so we just do both brands at any event we go to. But that way you can have a separation.
And it's not politically correct on steroids,
Yeah.
basically. And so that's what the Hatermade is. It's not that it's about hate necessarily.
It's
No,
that
no,
you
but-
it's that you were hater made, but the quotes are more kind of motivational.
I think
More of adult.
I think regardless of who you are, everybody has a hater out there. So
for
hater
sure.
made makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah.
And that's a new trend that we've seen over the past 10 years is haters gonna hate,
Yeah.
meaning that
That's
people are
right, yeah.
jealous,
Yeah.
they envy you, success, and that's
And,
what
and
that
no
comes
matter
in.
what, one of these quotes out of the many designs we have, it fits you somehow. Almost everybody that walks up and sees a shirt says, "That is me,"
Find
or
something that
"That
fits
is my
everybody.
husband." Yeah.
And so that going back to the kid-friendly, what are the kid-friendly sayings?
So that's my cup of tea. I like seeing kids. I like seeing that they're having a good time, and for them to get a T-shirt with a truck on the back that they've seen in person. And sometimes we'll do that. We'll say, "Hey, that's the truck right there," and they'll go take a picture with it. And we have a huge selection of designs. But that part's cool. They get to wear a shirt with a custom truck or car on it, and we do it anything. And it was Matt's idea. I will give him some credit on this. He wanted to do like the mini Mad Gear line, which is the onesies and the toddlers, like the little kids. And you should see parents and grandparents. They just love it. It's so unique.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not, it's
It
not anything you can
is.
get at a store. And then to find out that that was a real truck, they've seen it in person. It's been at SEMA. It's been on TV. That is really cool.
How do you get from growing up with your parents owning a truck accessories company, you doing car shows, into the apparel business? How does that morph out?
That was Matt, totally Matt. So we were doing car shows together. We were actually pulling a 3-car hauler, and we were spending a ton of money on fuel, hotels to compete. And so we thought, well, let's do a couple shirts and make some of that money back. And that turned into a real business where I no longer could work for my family anymore. This is a full-time job for the both of us.
Because you had to have a creative artist, or did you design all the
We,
art?
yeah, we do have an
logo?
artist,
Okay.
yes.
That creates everything.
Well, so you've got basically an apparel company. So you've got the printing presses and all that to do the silk screening.
We use somebody in Houston, but I do embroider all of our hats.
Oh, you do all the
Yeah,
embroidery
there's no
yourself.
way possible with as much as we do traveling, folding, inventory, running a website that we could ever print ourselves. So I'm glad we have a printer because we do huge amounts.
Do you ship out apparel too?
Yes. We have a website, madgearing.biz. So we meet a lot of people while we travel, and then they get to know us, and then they'll repeat order online because they only see us once or twice a year, at certain shows that they go to.
Right.
And we're kind of their go-to for birthday gifts or like right now, holiday stuff.
Oh, holidays,
Yeah.
right? Now's the time
Yeah,
for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
www.madgearing.biz.
I mean, yeah, it's impressive. I'm just,
Oh, no,
traveling
I-
all over the state, hustle. It's
Yeah.
full time.
Well, next is nationwide, right?
Well, when we got like a Hawaii order and some of these in the beginning, these crazy states, that is very neat and humbling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
So
I mean,
you were
it's
getting
still to
orders from blue
today.
states,
Yeah,
you
we
mean?
get yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
And how do
awesome.
they find out about you? Yeah.
So I am very good on, if I meet you in person, I am going to tell you about my website. I'm going to make you remember me.
Yeah.
But, thank goodness for social media as well. With those free outlets, I can use, Facebook and Instagram and
She's
just
a
try
good
to-
self-promoter.
Yeah, if anybody from another state's buying your apparel and they haven't been to one of your shows, let's that they're finding you out.
Well, I
and
just had
actually
an
ordering.
order. Yeah, I had an order from 2 days ago where they ordered some hoodies, because we also do hoodies with those same designs. And it was really neat because the person in the comments wrote that she's continuing to order from me, but she can't wait to meet us in person.
Aw.
So we have not met this person in
Yeah.
person, and so I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
I
it
showed my
is.
husband.
That's very nice.
I noticed also that from your posts that you've got your son involved now.
Yes.
What's his name?
Jace,
Jace. And how old is he?
17.
I
He's a
just-
senior in high school.
I just noticed how proud you are of the work that he's putting into the business and
He
stuff.
has been around the whole time. So, like, my favorite pictures of him is he's a little toddler and he's inside of Matt's dually wheel with a rag and he's cleaning it. I have a picture of him where he has the drill. He's screwing the banners into the tables, So he's been around it.
Does he enjoy the work? Do you think he'll follow in your footsteps, or do you think he may go in a different direction?
I don't know, right? We don't know. But he has said he would do some changes. And if so, I'd be proud of that.
The younger generation
yeah,
input.
I know.
No, you
I'm
want
like e-commerce.
But you want that.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing would be to see for him to go to work for somebody else, only to realize a few months
Yeah.
into it, it's like, this ain't going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has totally impressed me. He has helped in the last year or two help load the trailers, unload the trailers. And when he unloads, he did it in a way that was so organized. And he just knows the system. And he did something smarter than we had done. So sometimes it does take, a new set of eyes.
It's
But,
always-
we want him to do what he wants to do. I don't want him to work as physically hard as Matt and I do. Because with our retail part, when we go to shows, I know the trendy word right now for selling stuff at an event is like a pop-up. We're not a pop-up.
Yeah.
I mean, we completely build a mall.
It grew because it used to
Yeah.
be a pop-up.
Yeah.
If you ever saw it, you would
Yeah.
be amazed.
It did
Now
used to be a
now it's
pop-up.
incredible.
Yeah.
It's a
Now, I'm not
huge tent.
complaining about it because with it
Yeah.
open like that, we can help people and smile and talk to people all day long. It works for us. But when the show's over and we have to break it back
Tear it
down and
down.
load it back up, whew,
Yeah.
At the end of the show, it's just terrible. It's like you don't have any energy left. You really don't feel like doing, but you got no choice
Yeah.
but to pack it up and get out of there.
yeah.
Was the apparel that was what actually took off?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, like which designs or?
Yeah, well, just the items that Matt was selling, because when I first met Matt, it was the brass knuckles and stuff, and I really didn't understand what he was trying to do.
Well, the person, when you create something, it's really your liking and your history, and he's always been into brass knuckles. Our vehicles have custom-made DEMA brass knuckle wheels.
Okay.
Our shifters are brass knuckles, so you tend to go to things that you like, and
Right.
that stuff works. We still sell those brass knuckles today.
Really?
They actually became legal in Texas like 2 years ago,
Oh,
so
did they really?
we don't have to hide them anymore when the police would come by, But that's just one item. Everything has grown. We do everything from sunglasses, hats, beanies, hoodies.
And I believe also you were telling me, because we were talking about Red Line and how we used to go there and get our stuff printed and our stickers
I know.
made.
When we were talking out there, you reminded me how old we are, how
Yeah.
really old we are, of how long ago we all knew each other.
Right. And you said that y'all bought your own printers and everything to where you didn't have to go to Red Line
Yes,
anymore.
yeah. So we do our own stickers, and we've eliminated some of those things, but we still can't do it all. So we still use Redline for our car show flyers,
Okay.
stuff like that.
And to
yeah.
wrap your trailers, I'm
Yep,
sure.
yep. Wrap our
Yeah.
trailers, wrap our vans.
Yeah, I first ran into you guys at I'd seen Spencer rides going around
Yeah.
to car shows, but you guys did a show out at Papa's on the Lake.
Yeah.
And I had a David Reagan giveaway Mustang at the time. This was like 2014. So, and y'all got me a spot in there, and
Awesome.
Well, I
great
bet y'all
great
filled that
show.
parking lot up,
Well,
didn't
what's
you?
crazy is we started at Hooters. Remember, it was the Spencer Rides Hooters car show.
I have an award from there.
Yeah,
I still
yeah.
have it.
And we did that 4 or 5 years, and we outgrew Hooters, and we were invited to Papa, so we did that. We outgrew that place
Probably
the
the first
first
show,
year.
yeah.
So that's when we had to move it. And now that show is currently in Missouri City, Texas. And I'm going
Missouri
to tell
City.
you, I'm going to throw something out there. That city has been beyond welcoming. If you're ever going to throw an event, throw an event where the city wants you and asks you, because the things they do for you and how they make you feel is great.
That's nice to
Speaking
know.
of
So shout
Missouri-
out to Missouri City.
How many entries did you actually have in Missouri City?
I would have to look, but I mean, it's hundreds.
Hundreds.
Yeah. And it grows every year.
It's a whole weekend show, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have a tattoo expo. That's something a little different than most shows do, but Matt started that many, many years ago. But so we have a tattoo expo at the same time. The city brings out their fire trucks, any of their trucks that the kids can crawl on
First
and check.
responders
Yeah.
and-
I mean, it is neat.
And y'all been to the C10 event, right?
Yes. So as a vendor, as Mad Gear, Hot Rod Apparel, and Hatermade, we have a great spot at Seaton's in the Park. Terry takes care of us there.
And I think that's
but
in the
we,
hundreds
we
of
don't
cars,
get to
too,
go look.
the trucks.
I mean, we stay in our bubble selling, and before you know it, the day's over and the C10s are driving off.
Oh, man.
But where our spot is at that show, the entrance is behind me. So if you get out there about 6:30 in the morning, cup of coffee, I get a hell of a view. Oops, bad word.
You can actually use that one. You're good.
Okay.
What you talk about going to Missouri City and how that show's blowing up. Y'all still live? Are you on this side of town, or did you move down there?
So we are in Willis. We've been in Willis for almost 7 years. We were in Conroe.
They outgrew that.
Yeah, HOA was like
residential
too
area.
many trailers, lady. You know, so we
my
went and
God,
got a
that-
couple acres in Willis.
That's like an hour and a half drive to get over to Missouri City.
But it's nothing. It's nothing when you
Not
travel
compared
for
to
a
traveling
living.
all
Yeah,
across the
yeah,
country.
Well, you know you're going to stay there for a couple of days,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and
And that's another thing with your shows. They're all weekend.
yes.
They're not like the shows
We're-
we put on where, we got to be out there by 4 or 5 o'clock. And
Yeah.
everybody's waiting for the trophy at 2 to go home. These people actually cook, barbecue, party
Yes.
all night, and then ready for the next day.
They're getting
they're
hotel
there.
rooms
Right.
and camping out.
Yeah.
We have a lot of families that make a weekend out of it. They
Yes.
bring the kids.
I know
So
they take vacation time.
back to being kid friendly.
Yeah.
I make sure we have something called a foam party. And people have gotten used to this
I
foam
seen the
party,
video of
so they
that.
bring extra clothes for their kiddo and they play in the bubbles. We have a kids piñata. It started off as just a kids piñata. We moved into an adult piñata, and that is wild, guys.
I'll bet that is
Yeah,
wild.
that's after a few beers, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, it's a true event for the weekend.
You know, Dana invited me to a show that you guys were at. I
Oh,
wanna
that was
say-
up in Huntsville?
Yeah, it was Huntsville. I
Yeah.
want to say it was Wake and Scrape.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
I don't remember a whole lot because there was a little bit of alcohol involved in the booth, but, but we did good that
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah, it was fun. That I remember Philip got a tattoo of my initials
See,
that day.
I mean, you can't go wrong when you do an event with Matt and Naomi.
I
It's
never
always
seen
fun.
him smile so
Yeah.
big that day when he was getting my initials on his arm. And he can say all he wants about, oh, yeah, she wanted. No, I didn't say anything. You were smiling from ear to ear. I
Well,
have the proof.
He was smiling because there was like a missing half gallon of vodka somewhere.
Yeah.
So, but we stayed at the Holiday Inn Express, and that next morning I go down for breakfast, and I'm sitting down and I'm intimidated by a bunch of guys with tattoos and these long beards. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't fit in. I'm not going back to the room to eat. So I saddle up at the high top table, and then I'm listening to these guys, and all they're talking about. This is so funny to me. Talking about going to their kids' soccer games, talking about their
telling
kids'
ya.
baseball games. It was
Yeah.
all about the family and
Yep.
the kids.
I mean, we really do have a great set of friends and followers.
Supporters,
And, yeah.
Speaking of that, what website does everybody communicate on and keep in touch with and know what shows everybody's going to? There's got to be some kind of
Well,
forum.
believe it or not, we used to have a tour shirt, like a band would have, but we had to stop doing that because we change up. People invite us somewhere last minute, we take them up on it. So I just post on social media. If someone sends me a message, I'll answer them. But I'm always constantly trying to share car show flyers ahead of time. The more people come, the better for us, the better for the show promoter,
Right.
and that's what the most you can do.
But also, it takes months and months because I see on your flyers you have tons of sponsors, businesses who sponsor your events.
Yeah.
I mean, how long? That has to be a huge undertaking, securing all those sponsors,
It
getting all
is.
the names
Shout
on the
out
flyers.
to all car show event promoters. It is a lot of work. And the people, and I think everyone in our circle knows that. And there might be a few that don't truly understand how much goes into this, but there is a lot of work behind
It
all of
takes
this.
all year long
Yeah.
to put on a show.
Oh
And
yeah.
we even do a one day, kind of like what you were saying, we do an event at a bar, Exit 73 in Spring. It's 5-6 hours. Consider that a pop up.
Right.
That's work.
Yeah.
our flyer gets done by Redline, and you got to get sponsors for that. We give out $250 cash for best of show. We do these really rad beer buckets wrapped. I mean, there's so much work for what looks like, oh, they just did it real quick for the day. There's a lot of work.
How do you do an event at Exit 73? Because they have no parking lot.
It's in and out, and we stuff them.
I've been to one of those events.
And I
It's
park them
crammed in.
myself. I will make you fit. We will
Yeah.
make it work. Yeah.
They cram them in, but it's
That is-
Let me know when the next one is, because that's like a
January.
mile from my house. So.
It's January. I'll have to give you the
Well,
dates.
I'll be down this January. I got back surgery, but
Enough beers, and you won't be down.
You're
You
right.
watch your social
You're right.
media video
maybe they can
clips.
wheelchair me over there.
Put you in a wheelchair, we'll wheel you on
Yeah.
in. There you go.
Yeah.
I just wanted you to briefly talk about the one charity I remember, Parents of Murdered Children.
Yes.
That was
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you for
Yes.
thinking of that. So Texas Wake and Scrape, Matt and I do a charity auction on Sunday right before awards, and we get donations and we donate stuff ourselves, and we're very grateful to the people that donate and for the high bidders that are raising their hand.
Right.
But all of that money goes to Parents of Murdered Children, and that's just a charity that Matt and I would give to on a personal level years and years and years ago. And then when we had the idea of using the show as a platform for that, the amount is unbelievable that we're able to donate every year.
It's not really
Yeah.
talked about. You don't
No.
hear about things like that. Nobody
No.
wants to really,
What caused you to focus on that charity? I'm curious.
Maybe my interests, things that I'm interested in, and I knew that not many people had known about it. And I'll quickly say this, but we had no direct relation to this charity at a time until some years back when something happened to a great girlfriend of mine, and now we kind of do have
Like a little connection
a
there.
connection.
yeah, people who experience that
way.
loss, where do they go? How do they raise awareness?
I've been in a family whose my mother-in-law lost her son in a freak car accident, and then I've got a friend that used to be a salesperson for me who his daughter died from a brain aneurysm. This was all over the news globally and everything at the time. Life after that for those parents is never, ever the same. Every year you've got little marks along the calendar that come up that remind them. It just brings them back down into the depth of depression on that.
But do you think it's a completely different thing when it's homicide?
Oh, certainly.
Oh, for sure.
It
And
brings it
there-
to a whole
there-
nother level.
There's so many unanswered questions there.
It definitely brought some eyes open to this. Our fans and followers had never heard of this charity. It's just gotten better since. And we'll take any donations. If you're
Yeah.
out there, we'll take anything you'd like. Next year, we're going to do something a little bit differently. If you couldn't be there to bid or if you couldn't donate, we're going to do something where you can do it online because anything helps. And these ladies over there that I talk to once a year, they are so appreciative. They can't wait till the truck show sends
and
a
does the money
check.
go for support groups for them, for counseling?
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff?
counseling. It's kind of, I usually share pamphlets. It's got all the information, but it's mainly for that. But what Matt did years ago, and we still do it to today, is the girlfriend, she lost a boy and a girl. Matt makes an award, and we pick a vehicle that we think the young man and the young lady would have chose. And so there is a recipient to an award called Celebration of Life.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
nice.
I got the chills again. I do that.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
You guys do some really cool awards too, so I can imagine it's probably a
Yes.
cut metal award.
Yeah,
that you're
I
doing.
gotta tell you, Matt, when it comes to marketing, he's impressive.
Pretty creative.
Yeah, I might be the social butterfly, but I love his ideas, and then I just help make them happen. But we started many, many years ago when it was still at Hooters. It's the female mannequins, and we candy coat paint them, and we pinstripe them, and sometimes they have some little tassels on them, and yeah.
So is that the kid friendly or not kid friendly?
Hey, the
It's a
kid,
mannequin.
yeah, the kids like them too.
You
But
know,
those are,
I
those
just don't
are
know where
our
you
like
put that on the wall. though,
best
you
of
know.
awards, and you should see it when people win them. They'll tag us on Facebook after the show, and they've got them in the seat with a seat belt. They got the whole girl tucked in. People love those awards.
It's like the Christmas Story leg with
Yeah.
this fishnet stocking and the lamp.
You know, I, when I was with the big electronics company, Hooters was one of my accounts because they were corporately based where we were. And I got clotheslined by corporate legal about having the Hooters account. I'm like, guy, you don't understand. It is a family-friendly bar. That's all it is. It's family-friendly.
Restaurant bar.
Yeah. Restaurant bar, yeah. But it's so people take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
They take it way out of
No,
context.
they loved us. Yeah, if we brought revenue to a restaurant, they loved
Oh,
us.
of course they do.
Yeah.
We did an award once, Matt did an award once, where it was like the shape, and then you could, put them in if you wanted to. So that was a pretty custom. And that was billet. But you have to do things that are unique and different and something that
stand
someone will
out.
talk about. Yeah. And back to what I said earlier, it's also what you like. That's what makes doing this fun, is that you never plateau. You're in this business for Matt and I, we're constantly trying to do something different and change it up so that we're never bored. It's exciting going to different cities and
You
states
definitely-
that we're invited to.
You guys,
Meeting new people.
Yeah.
yeah, you guys definitely know your clientele and the people who come to your show.
Oh yeah, we were invited to a diesel event, a racing diesel event. I cannot believe how well we did. I didn't expect it. I didn't know the crowd, and it was just really neat to try something new. And trust me, invite me to any diesel event.
Now, how would you compare your crowds to, say, Market Street's a little more conservative?
Very, very conservative to the groups
Yeah,
at these shows.
I always didn't
No,
know
it's-
how well that would work, but I think now in today's times where people don't want to be silent and they
Yeah.
want to
But
be.
at your thing, I want to be there just as me. I want to
Yeah.
enjoy
Yeah.
the cars, the Ferraris, and the people and talking to people.
Yeah,
But at their thing, I guarantee you, there's no Karen that's come down from the Hyatt Centric,
well,
shaking her finger at
Well,
us,
yeah.
cussing us out.
Yeah, we had a lady do that last
Yeah.
time.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
But
Thank
we're all-
God for the Karens.
we're
Yeah.
always asked in our car clubs, how do we grow? How do we get the entries that you guys get? 200 or 300, and I'm like, it's totally two different worlds. You can't mix the
You
two.
can't even answer that because everything's changing.
Yeah.
Everything's changing. Pop-ups are really neat right now. Some people just want to go for the day and be home by that afternoon. It's
But do you think it's more social media and putting yourself out there and making that 3 second,
yes.
getting your attention within 3 seconds?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just used to posting materials, product, information, flyers, but I keep having people say, like, no, you need to film yourself and interaction. And that's why I'm here,
Right.
because you really do have to market yourself.
Make it
You are
personal.
your brand.
You are your brand.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, you've built two brands. And what do you find is really the success in driving a brand and creating a brand? And what you're doing is you're buying mind share, but you're owning it afterwards.
Yeah, being personable. So we had discussed getting the vending trailers with the door. That's just not my cup of tea. I like being on the same ground and hugging you and hugging your kiddo, and that's really neat. And so with the mini Mad Gear part of our business, they get a free Hot Wheel, they get a sticker. One, they smile and they get so happy. And then two, you look up at the parents and they're smiling and they're happy. And I think they just know you as a person and that you respected their kiddo and you're just you.
Just
You're-
make them
yeah.
feel welcome
Yeah.
and included, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So people know you as you, not a brand.
And
But then the brand that you've bought mind share at that point. They're locked into you, but they're locked in now to your brand.
Yeah.
And that just carries on
Yeah.
and it expands.
Because
and
she brings a
expands.
level of authenticity. It's not just you're saying one thing and you're advertising one thing, but then you're something else. I mean, what you see is what you get, and that shines through, with being authentic, and people appreciate that. They like that. They welcome
Yeah.
that. And
You
not
know,
many,
Maybe with TWCC, we should brand ourselves as the show for Karens.
show for what?
For
Karens.
Oh my gosh. We'll wake up the honeymooners with the cars revving at 6 o'clock in the morning.
But I do like joining y'all in the morning for coffee and just being there.
We
and,
love
we
having
love
you
Naomi.
out
and,
there.
I'm a helper bee, so I like to be a part of things all the time.
We always
so,
love her smiling face joining
Absolutely.
us. And help.
You're the only one smiling. The rest of us are all frowning.
Well, I mean, it's
Nobody
always,
wants to get up that early.
Hey, it's always nice to have another female join us.
Yeah.
It's so.
And if you're new to the Cars and Coffee, the Woodlands, it is something you need to come out to. But read the rules and regulations on the vehicles and whatnot. But for me, that's not my genre of vehicles
Your
that we
audience,
go to,
Right.
right?
really.
Yeah.
So when was that I took a picture with that
Yeah, his name was it Juan?
$2 million car?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
these
the
are
electric
things
car.
that
Yeah.
I don't get to see.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
really neat for me to see.
Got some cool stuff coming out.
Yeah.
If those people want to be home by noon, or
Yeah.
if it's a car show, not later than 2, they're out of there.
Yep.
They're not like y'all where they're hanging out all weekend and it's a
Well, there's no
cookout
beer
and a
at our
barbecue.
event. We can have
That's right.
mimosas,
Yeah,
but
that's
No
We can-
beer,
we
no
can make this
barbecue
happen.
going,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got a friend in a car club I've tried to get on here before, and everybody goes silent. But it's the Nocturnal Car Club. But
That's a
I'm
good group of guys.
good
They
group of guys.
They support us.
I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you, since you're here and you're on camera and you're on mic, to say hello to a good friend.
Okay.
If you would, Angel Huerto.
I know him. I love him.
I know you do.
He
Say
tags
hello
me in
to him.
everything. Angel, he supports me in every event we ever do. He is just a number one guy, and not just my events. I mean, he's got the right feeling for this car show scene. With his car club, he supports anything and everything. I mean, he is a terrific person. Perfect
is.
example.
Yeah, I'd love to have him or somebody from Nocturnal, some of these other
Yeah,
clubs in here.
yeah.
Because I asked Angel one day, I was like, how do you afford all this stuff in your car? He's like, oh, well, so-and-so over there, he did the paint, and so-and-so did the interior, but I bought the leather
And
for
I
it.
love that, because what we kind of, with our show, Texas Wake and Scrape, I kind of say it's like backyard builds. It doesn't have to be
Yes.
the highest quality. If you spent your time, sweat,
Blood,
money,
sweat,
effort
and
on it,
tears.
yeah. I mean, if it's custom, that's cool.
A lot,
Well,
of,
I
lot
mean-
of incompletes too.
On his car.
Work in progress.
Right.
Well, we do. Even at Wake and Scrape, we have top 3 in no particular order under construction.
Yep.
It does not have to be.
Doesn't have to be
done.
complete.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that.
Yeah.
Because it's a work in progress. Or maybe we had one out at a national show we did at the Lone Star Flight Museum. The guy had a barn find. He brought it in there. It was all dirty. And the Mustang Club of America, there were guys coming up to me complaining. It's like, that car shouldn't be here. I'm like, no, it should be here. The point is, these finds exist out there.
Yeah.
Let them see what it looks like when you find them.
Yeah, he was not going to wash the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
to your point, I mean, these guys have cars under construction. It's going to be something someday. Look around at what it may become. You know.
Not everybody has sponsors. There's still people doing it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
Yeah, not everybody gets the same feeling buying a
Yeah.
car off the showroom
I mean, we
floor
still
and then
have
putting it in the
builds
show.
that aren't done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of, when we were talking earlier, like Matt has had a couple vehicles that have been on covers of Truckin' Magazine, but that's when we pulled the 3-car hauler and we went to shows. At this point, if it can't pull a trailer, we don't need it. We don't want it. We are down to vehicles that are diesels that can pull trailers, that can pull loads.
work.
Yeah. Yes. But the vehicles that do, like our 2018 GMC, it's still custom.
Right.
So we still stayed true to, and actually one day y'all really need to look at the paint jobs that Matt chooses. He has never changed since the day I met him. He's into audio. He's into death metal. The hoods of these vehicles are Slayer and Iron Maiden, and I'm very proud that he stayed true to who he was. Like the artwork of our vehicles is him.
Right.
Yeah.
And keep promoting
Yeah.
until it finally catches on.
And then his damn marketing, he's so good. I mean, anything we have is a moving billboard. I mean, he makes sure our logos are on everything we have, and
Yeah, that's huge.
yeah. Well, and speaking of, he even did a billboard once. We had a Mad Gear billboard in Conroe. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. Local,
Yeah.
homegrown,
Yeah.
American dream right here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, we're going to have to slide out for some station recognition and show recognition, but how do people, what all platforms are you on? How do they get in touch with you?
So our website is madgearinc.biz. That is our merchandise website. I physically package it, ship it myself. That we'd love for the online orders. But Facebook is probably my go-to. And you can find Naomi Uresti personally. I am just easier that way.
Yeah.
Matt Spence. Instagram, we're at @madgear_apparel. I mean, we try to do the socials. And then recently, I've been getting into TikTok. So if you want to follow us on TikTok, it's just job, but you've got to market yourself, right? Content.
Yep.
So TikTok is madgear.hatermade.
Madgear.hatermade.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, very good. Is there any sort of a phone number or email address or anything?
I
It's
put
just
my
social
cell phone
media.
out there. I mean, yeah, if I can
social
help
media
you, yeah.
is the easiest way, probably.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Naomi, we thank you for coming in here. I hope you, Jace and Matt, have a continued success here.
Yeah, thanks.
Can't thank you enough. And if you've got any of the car club people that you can touch base with and say, hey, come in
Absolutely.
and talk
Yeah.
to these guys,
Yep.
we'd love to have them on
Yes,
the show.
thanks so much,
Yeah.
Naomi.
Yeah.
Girl power.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll be as
Thank
talkative
you.
as me, but
Yeah.
but yeah.
You're awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is Cruisin' Car Club Talk on Lone Star 104.5 and 106.1 FM. Or for those Globetrotters out there, we can be streamed anywhere on earth at irlonestar.com, on Facebook, or on YouTube. I'm Randy Welton. This is Dana Pritchard and Robert.
We're going to be right back with upcoming events.
Yeah, what's your last name?
Helmer.
I knew you had one.
Yeah.
Every Friday, tune into Texas Ticket on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM with Armando Nino of Gold Lake Conroe, focusing on Montgomery County area events and places. Get a feel of the Texas spirit at the event, paired with guest and vendor interviews, event coverage, and ticket giveaways, and so much more. Join us Fridays and punch your Texas ticket. For more information on the show, visit irlonestar.com/Texas Ticket.
Welcome back. Our guest this last segment was Naomi Uresti. Since she's out of here, and I think we're at this point where we need to introduce or announce the events and stuff like that. You've got a list of events, right, that we had skipped over earlier?
Well, we always want to promote TWCC. It's the first Sunday of every month. This episode is going to air on December the 2nd, and it's going to be passed because our next one will be December the 1st. But we just want to get out TWCC out there first Sunday of every month.
Well, the big thing this coming month is we've got the Christmas toy drive.
That would be December 1st, right?
December 1st.
Yeah, December 1st. Those of you who don't know, Dana Pritchard from the Woodlands Car Club. I host the Woodlands Cars and Coffee for a Cause at Market Street the first Sunday morning of the month from about 6 to 10. And actually, I was thinking about changing the time. I was going to ask you guys what you think about that, making it a little bit later in the morning.
Yeah, don't go any earlier.
Well,
But, I was thinking when we originally started, it was 9 to 11. And Market Street wanted us out by 11, stores open around 12.
They still want us out at 11.
But, at 9 o'clock when it started, people were getting there at 8 because they wanted parking, and then 7, and then 6, and here it is, what we're doing now, 6 to 10. But I was thinking since the new year, we're going to do some refreshing, rebranding, adding in new things for the event. Thought maybe it might be a good time around the first quarter to make an announcement of a time change. Thinking maybe 7 to 10, 7 to 11. What do you guys think? Because I know people will still get there at 6.
Yeah,
but
we need to beat it around because people are going to show up. They'll move the barricades. They'll get in there.
they'll still park at 6 o'clock.
that's what I'm saying. So I don't even know if it'd be worth it. But
Probably
I know
not.
there's events right after hours that people go to ours and they go to theirs. So I didn't know if it'd even be worth it, or is it just too dang early?
Well, those deputies that we hire to be on site, can we get them to pay them a little extra, get them to tase people that show up early?
Well, because I was thinking about having some vendors come out, and a lot of vendors don't want to come at 6 to 10. It's kind of doesn't make sense for them to be out that early. No one's
but I
really.
think you might discourage too people who get there at 6, and you say, "Oh no, we don't open until 7." They'll just go away and not come back.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to know what you thought. Is
Yeah.
it too early in the morning to where people aren't coming out, or
Let's grab some lunch sometime between now and first of the year, and we'll beat that around a little bit.
Yeah.
So
You might just broadcast that out at TWCC and
see what people think.
See what people
that kind of
think,
thing.
and see if they're willing to do this, or get the word out that you're wanting to change the time, and don't just spring it on them 6 o'clock in the morning.
if we do 6 a.m. though, maybe we can create a little section for everybody that's attending the car event to sit in an area and watch us draw the Karens out of the Hyatt Centric. Yeah. See how many Karens we can
have
get to
those,
come out.
What are those blowhorns?
Be the Sunday morning cuss
Mega
down.
horns.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Dana
anyway.
with TWCC, I thought you were with Cruisin Car Club Talk. Did I miss something?
Yeah. I'm the founder
Dana
of the
Pritchard
Woodlands
with
Car
Cruisin
Club.
Car Club Talk.
Yeah, I'm a special guest host on Cruisin Car Club Talk.
You're a host.
But-
You're a host.
Yeah, and actually the first of the year, the first Sunday of the month for January. So when this airs, that'll be our next event. Would be the first Sunday in January, and it's after the New Year holiday, so it'll be 2025.
Yeah. Okay. We have Gateway Classic Cars in Houston for their caffeine and chrome. That's December the 7th. And that is 1910 Cypress Station Drive, Houston, Texas. And that's going to be a toy drive also for December the 7th.
There's going to be a lot of those
Yes.
here this coming month.
Gateway Classic Cars Toy Drive, December the 7th. December the 8th, Octane and Espressos. This is hosted by Speed Advocates. Our friend Stephen Cruz hosts that. And this is going to be at 7086 Highway 6 in Houston. The zip code is 77095. It's going to be at Black Rifle Coffee, and that is in Copperfield.
Yep, out there off near 529 somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's out there.
And
So-
then there's that December 14th, the Woodlands High School, their car club at the Woodlands High School for Interfaith of the Woodlands. They're having their toy drive also.
That's a toy drive. Is it just a Cruisin and toy drive?
It's a Cruisin' and toy drive.
Okay, all right.
And where's that at again?
It's at the Woodlands High School off of
Woodlands High
Research
School.
Forest Drive. It's the Woodlands
That's,
Automotive Enthusiast.
That's
for the high school.
College Park, is it not?
It's at
College
the
Park
Woodlands High School off of Research
Is
Forest.
that's actually okay?
Yeah.
I don't know the high schools around here anymore.
Well, we had the
College
Woodlands.
Park's on 242.
We had the Woodlands High School Enthusiast Car Club come out. That's their car club, and they do a toy drive every year also.
Yep. No, I had the wrong location of a high school. That's all.
Yeah, they have two in the they have a lot.
They
in
got
the
a few.
Woodlands,
They got a few.
Okay, well, I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Cruisin is a show to inform and educate the community on local car clubs and the events that they host within the Montgomery County and surrounding areas. And that is what we got for the day.
Yeah, we get people in here, hopefully people with car clubs that talk about their car club and events that they put on. But a lot of these people get together, and like when you started the Woodlands Car Club, or you took over as president of the Woodlands Car Club and you started TWCC, it's to benefit and give back to the community. And that's what most of these car clubs do. So
Yeah, I think
we'd
it's
love to have
important.
them on the show.
Yeah, it's important to highlight small businesses because they're a big part of these car shows. They're a big part of the volunteers who contribute, and also highlighting the charities that we donate to. So that's why I like this platform to be able to do that. So
A lot of charity drives actually gain members because of the moving experience that they receive. Like when you're at God's Garage and you're giving away a car to a family in need, and being there is like, it moves you. Like, okay, I want to do more of this.
Yeah, I know you don't tear up much, but when we gave that, we were a part of giving that car away with God's Garage, man, it's like, I hope they don't take a close up picture, man. We're over here, we got to wipe our face, man. Got tears flowing, So anyhow, hey, we're gonna hop out of here. I think we fulfilled our time
Yes,
for
we
this
did.
show. That is it for this episode of Cruisin' Car Club Talk. I'm Randy Weldon. That's Robert Helmer, and this is Dana Pritchard. And locked up back there in the safe room / sound booth is our sound engineer and producer, Dick Schischler. We are broadcasting from the studios at Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 and 106.1 FM, and streaming worldwide on irlonestar.com, on Facebook, and on YouTube.
And we'll be seeing you next time.
On the next
Bye,
episode.
everybody.
Bye.
Take
Thanks,
care.
guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.